One day after the East Coast earthquake, the ground is about to shake again here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as the stars of Three Rivers RC hit the track for the MustangStampede 302, an absolute must-win race for Chad Limerick today, as Steve Brown will not be in the car lineup. If Bill Steinbach wins this race, he wins it all in the 2011 season. Get ready for some rough and ready championship-style RC car racing. With a high-quality camera and high-quality racing, it's going to be another classic duel between Chad Limerick and Bill Steinbach. Chevy versus Ferrari. Get ready for some rough and ready racing. Three, two, one, go.
And a checkers or wreckers race for Chad Limerick, who's also the early leader down the back straightaway. This week, returning to Ferrari. A big incident with Bill Steinbach in that cone in the center of turn 3 and 4. The car did not go over, but it was way up in the air.
Yes, he was, and we see the action already as Steinbach's trying to cut those corners tight, and it looks like it paid off here. He had to hit the brakes hard, and that caused Limerick to go out in front of him. We have a caution on lap number 4 as Limerick gets spun around. He'll back up and take the outside lane. Steinbach takes the inside lane, and he has the lead. He got the jump on that restart there. Ooh, some bumping down the backstretch all the way down into turn number 3, and they go around once again. Now, Brown couldn't race today because of some personal driver issues with some members of that team. So that's why Limbritter and Steinbach are simply racing here, and that actually puts Steinbach in a better position. We have a wreck here in turn number 4. Steinbach just hitting the outside wall, lap 8.
Chad Limerick choosing the inside lane. Bill Steinbach will come around in that Chevrolet Corvette with a huge bump draft, and somehow he got that to work to his advantage. Going down the back straightaway there, running wide open into turn number 3. Limerick almost went way wide out of the speedway, getting turned by Bill Steinbach. Both drivers get their composure and speed down the front straightaway, and Limerick pulling ahead by at least 2 seconds on Bill Steinbach.
Wow, that's amazing. Limerick was turned around in that turn 3 wall, right where the wood part begins and the tire wall ends, and he still has quite a lead, quite an advantage over Steinbach, who's really making a run for the lead now.
Spreading out here near halfway in this race, Limbritter with a huge bobble and gets turned coming out of turn number 4 by Bill Steinbach. That will wave a yellow flag on lap 14. Steinbach will just come around for this restart. There it is. Green flag back in the air. Limbritter wasn't even touched by Bill Steinbach, but goes south into that Goodyear tire at the start-finish line.
The splitter got underneath that Goodyear tire, and that'll cause a red flag as he tries to get his car going. Here's an instant replay of that.
Let's look at this one again, coming down the front straightaway. It looks like Bill Steinbach came a little bit low on Chad Limbritter. He did, in fact, tap him. That's the word from race control, and that sent him into the Goodyear tire. Here he comes. Green flag's back in the air. Side drafting down the front straightaway. Limbritter trying to hold up Steinbach, but Limbritter gets held up in turn number 1, hitting that cone.
He knew he was going to hit that cone, and that's why he locked up the brakes and put it right in reverse there. That made him not lose a lot of ground, and he's catching up to Steinbach once again, who looks to be slowing down here already. Oh, and he hits the turn 3 cone. We've seen trouble for him so far. He thought it was going to be a restart, too, and stopped at the restart line. We will have a yellow flag, in fact, on lap 18. The officials are going to do that because Steinbach did, in fact, think there was a caution there.
Look at this one coming down the back straightaway. Look at that car. The whole thing just bounced perfectly as he hit that cone going into turn number 3, and he went wide out of turn number 4, scraping the concrete wall.
Yeah, and he hesitated there at the line. That's why the officials called that yellow flag. All right, we're under green once again. Limbritter has the lead. What a surprise. That Ferrari is so quick on those restarts.
Aerodynamic advantage with the Ferrari. Power on the side of the Chevy. Coming out of turn number 4, Chad Limbritter running his same line as he has been running all year long. Right in the middle of that track, the Ferrari's perfect line in the middle of the racing groove. Now this time down the back straightaway, Bill Steinbach trying to draft up to the back of Chad Limbritter, but it may not be enough. He's so far back, he might not be able to pick up the draft and gain speed to catch Limbritter.
That Chevy looks to be handling a lot better than the red Ferrari today, as Limbritter seems to be fishtailing like right there on the front stretch. Not exactly fishtailing, but he's just all over the track, whereas Steinbach can cut those corners tight. Just as we say that, he cuts it too tight. Yellow flag on lap 24, green flag lap 25.
A big spin going into turn number 1. Bill Steinbach was spun out by Chad Limbritter in that red Ferrari, number 8. Coming around for the restart in the number 1. Green flag's back in the air, and he hits that concrete wall right at the restart line.
All right, here we go to the restart line for this one. Ooh, Limburger has the outside lane, and he just hits the back of Steinbach, pushing him right into that Goodyear tire there. We'll go around and redo that restart. Steinbach's on the outside of the track right now, awaiting a word from the officials, it looks like, or his teammates in the pits. Green flag, some bumping going into that restart. Wow, Limburger sideways, gets the car going, and he has the lead.
Limburger really working that controller down in the driver's booth in turn number 2. This time going into turn number 3, he's hitting that line perfectly.
It looks like he power slid out of 4.
Out of turn number 4, at the start-finish line, Bill Steinbach hitting that cone up in turn number 1, and that will wave a yellow flag on lap 29. 6 laps to go. Track maintenance team doing some quick repair to the cones down in turn number 1, the far end of the speedway.
That caution was actually good fortune for Limburger. It looks like he was about to spin out in turn number 3, saw the yellow flag came out, and he knew he could slow down and hit that restart line, so that really paid off for him.
Here he comes to restart the race. Green flag back in the air. He's going to try to block Limburger up into turn 1, but he loses control of his vehicle, hitting the Moon Speedway lettering in turn number 1. Looks like he may have tried to wreck Chad Limburger going into turn number 3, but he lost control of his own car, locked up the rear brakes, and simply spun out. This time going into turn number 1, Chad Limburger surprisingly the leader, and Bill Steinbach with a head-on collision into that outside retaining wall in turn number 1. He will restart this race. Limburger will take the middle lane, it looks like. Green flag's back in the air. Bill Steinbach pulls right up in front of Limburger. A little bit of bump drafting and a bump and run by Chad Limburger going into turn number 1. Bill Steinbach locks up the brakes big time coming out of turn number 4. The car was completely sideways and came to a halt. There it is, the white flag.
Yes, it looks like Steinbach is not going to be able to catch up on this one unless Limburger has one of those issues that we've seen today, locking up the brakes. But no. Oh, and a wreck after the checkered flag.
Possibly on purpose by Bill Steinbach. Could have been a fight after this race. Very disappointed that he's going to have to actually race in the season finale versus Chad Limburger and Steve Brown. We'll see you next time here on the Three Rivers RC Racing Channel for the 2011 season finale.